If you're looking for a hardy, fast-growing stem plant that provides excellent habitat for fish and sucks up tons of nutrients, then look no further. Pogostemon stellatus octopus is the perfect plant for you. I use this plant in so many tanks. Today's guide on Pogostemon stellatus octopus will be fairly short because it's such an easy plant to grow. Follow along and learn everything there is to know about this amazing plant. Pogostemon stellatus octopus goes by the common name narrow-leaf water star due to the exploding pattern of leaves that burst out of the stem. Stems are thick and round with lots of space between the nodes in lower lighting tanks, and thick, compact leaf formations in high lighting tanks. Long, wispy leaves at the top of the plants create excellent hiding spots for fish and shrimp alike. It is a tall background plant, easily growing to the height of any home aquarium. In high lighting tanks, the tops tend to pick up some red, orange, or yellow coloration. If you grow it in a low lighting tank like this one here, it will remain green all the way through. There are a few varieties of this plant, including octopus, which is what you'll see in today's video. It's easy to identify based on the extremely narrow leaves. Dawson is a similar variety, but the leaves tend to pick up a little bit of purple coloration on the underside. The last commonly found variety is broadleaf. Yep, you guessed it. The leaves are broader. One last thing to note is that this species is sometimes referred to by its old name, Eustoralis stellata. They are exactly the same plant. This plant has an extremely wide geographic range in the wild, being found growing in marshy wetlands across Southeast Asia from India to Australia. Although a lot of online stores will say that this plant requires high levels of light, CO2, and fertilization to grow, I have found that to not be the case. In fact, I do not use this plant in high-tech tanks because of how aggressively it grows, outcompeting its neighbors, and just the sheer amount of time it takes to keep up with trimming this. Okay, so I made it clear I prefer to keep this plant in lower light tanks, but if you're trying to draw out all the colors this plant has to offer, then you will want to grow it in a high-tech environment. You'll get richer colors and far denser growth. Let's look at some specific water parameters that are required to grow Pogostemon stellatus octopus. pH of 6 to 8 roughly. A lot of people will recommend an even narrower range like 6.5 to 7.5, but I've had good luck growing it in a little bit more acidic to basic conditions. GH 0 to 10, KH 0 to 8, flow low to moderate. Like most stems, this plant will get caught up in high flow, causing it to bend over and grow kind of sideways rather than straight up. CO2 is optional. Use it if you want those colors and to get the most out of your fancy light, or if you have a lot of free time and just look forward to trimming it. Lighting, medium to high. It will grow in low light tanks like this one here, but as you can see, it really only grows well at the top portion of the tank, and it's shed virtually all of its leaves along the bottom. Temp, high 60s to low 80s, 20 to 28 Celsius. Trimming and propagating this plant go hand in hand. All you do is take a clipping along the stem and then plant it back in the soil. Let's take a look at a real life example of trimming this guy. So up along the top of the tank, we got a couple really long stems growing, but all I'm going to do is come down here and take a clipping. I like to clip under the hardscape, so this piece of wood here, zoom out a little bit so you can see what we're working with. This piece of wood right there, I want to clip under that line. I'll show you right here. Bang, go under there so you can't actually see where I'm clipping if you're looking from the front of the tank. And the reason that I do it this way is because each plant will grow two heads where I've cut it, And under each head, it's going to start growing a bunch of roots out of the node. So this right here is the node of a plant. It's where leaves shoot out in between the stem area. And you can see that there's already roots coming out of this guy along those areas and little heads growing out. So you can see two little heads growing there. When I stick this whole thing in the soil, all of those heads budding out the nodes are going to keep growing, and these roots are going to grow into the soil. Also, the area that I've clipped, that's going to grow two heads, and all these roots are going to grow out from it. So I like to have that under this wood area so that I'm not looking at a bunch of roots up in this area where we want things to look nice. And since this is a new setup, I'm going to plant these heads back in the aquarium. Eventually, it's going to get so crowded in here that I'm not going to want to replant the heads. But, this tank's only been set up for a few weeks, so I'm going to do that every now and then as these plants grow a little bit too big, but I still want them to be tall. So I'm only going to clip the few really like monstrosities right now and let the other ones keep growing. As for any issues with this plant, the most likely thing that someone's going to experience is due to low lighting. The leaves will start to turn kind of pale green and might look a little deformed or wrinkled as they slowly grow into stunted leaves. This issue can easily be remedied by getting some more light on the plants. These days, LEDs are super affordable. You can buy a lower end LED like a night crew, and that's still going to be a really good light that grows water star extremely well. You can take a little jump up and buy a hiker or some fancy lights, Chihiros, or even get some spotlights. Most types of lights would do just fine growing this plant. Well, that's all I got for Pogostemon stellatus octopus. Let me know what's your favorite stem plant to grow that grows really quick and sucks up tons of nutrients from the water column. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you learned anything. Appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.